Hey guys, welcome back to the Hat House. Today's video is all about boxes. Have you ever asked the question, what size box do you use? And got this answer? Well, today's video, we're going to sort all of it out. We're going to go through each one of these sizes. We're going to give you the cost of the box, the best case use for the box, and we're going to see what will work best for you and the type of hats that you're shipping. So let's head out to the garage and figure this one out. All right, guys, let's talk about boxes. Two things that I really want to cover are, of course, the size of the boxes and the price of the boxes. Now, I also put out some hats here in the front, and we're going to see which ones would work in which boxes. So the first box that we have is the 6x6x4 box. It's 40 cents. Then we have a 6x6x6. This is 45 cents. This is 8x6x6. This is 70 cents. This one is 8x6x4. It's 45 cents. This one is 10x6x4. It's 50 cents. 8x8x4. It's 59 cents. 8x8x8 is 75 cents. And this one was free from eBay. If you so choose, if you have a coupon, you can use your coupon to get this 10x8x6. It's 69 cents. Now, one thing on the prices, I did price them all out if you bought 100 of them at one time. So they would be in bundles of 100 to get that pricing. The pricing will go up a little bit if you're only buying 25 at a time. And of course, it goes down the more you buy. So those prices are all in bundles of 100. Okay, the first thing we need to know about the different types of hats is whether it is structured or unstructured. Like this hat here is an unstructured hat. Basically the crown of the hat is unstructured. It doesn't have to keep its form. It's not a big deal if it kind of gets squished a little bit. You just don't want the bill to get squished in transit, which would be terrible. But this is an unstructured hat. This New Era hat, on the other hand, would be more of a structured hat. The crown of the hat is really firm and stiff and can really get creases in it badly if you try to squeeze it into a box that it doesn't fit, or if you shipped it in a poly mailer. The trucker hats are the same way. They have a little bit more bounce back usually. It's not as big a deal on the creasing, but they're usually just kind of bigger and take a bigger box for them to fit in. Like a Patagonia hat, this style would also be structured. You don't really want to mash this one down either. And then of course the Nike hat, this is a totally unstructured hat, kind of a running hat. So those are the hats that we're going to be looking at and seeing if we can ship them in the different boxes. Okay, the first box that we're going to look at is this 6x6x4. It was 40 cents. All right, this box is kind of small. We're going to try and put one of the unstructured hats in it. And it will fit. The presentation when you get it to your customer will probably not be that great. It looks like you wadded up a hat and you put it in this box right here, but it will fit and you could ship it in this box. The hat's not going to be damaged or anything. It's just not going to be the best presentation. So I would say, yes, you could put a dad hat in there. Of course, you're not going to be able to fit a New Era hat in there. And you could also put one of these Nike running hats. Would probably be the best use for this small of a box. If you were selling a bunch of running hats like that, probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. All right, the next box is the 6x6x6. The dad hat fits in there just fine. Looks good. It's probably going to be a good use case for that. You could use that on either one of the unstructured hats. Would work perfect. All right, since we have a little bit bigger box now, let's try this Patagonia hat. See if we can get it in there. And it's not really gonna fit. The bill is kind of hanging over and you're gonna have to kind of smash it down in there to get it to fit in this box. So not a very good utility box. You can still only fit the dad hats in the 6x6x6. All right, the next box that we want to look at is the 8x6x6. This one is 70 cents. It is one of the more expensive boxes that we have here. Either one of the dad hats will fit fine in this box. What we're really looking for is trying to find something that can ship a New Era hat. The New Era hat is probably not going to fit well in the box. You can't really put it that way or get it in this way. You could put it in potentially like this and it would fit. But this box is a little bit more expensive than your other options. But it will fit a New Era hat. Now if we put the big trucker in here, it will also fit in here as well. So it will work for 8x6x6. So this one is an option where you could fit both styles of hats and get them into this box. We got the Patagonia hat. The Patagonia hat would also fit just fine in the 8x6x6. All right, 3 down. Next is the 10x6x4. This one is 50 cents a piece. Of course, either one of the dad hats, the unstructured hats, will fit fine in here. The New Era hats will not fit in here. There's not really a good way to turn the New Era hat to get it to fit in here. So the trucker hat's not going to fit as well. The Patagonia hats, I used to use this one a lot for the Patagonia hats. They fit really nicely in here. If you put them in here this way and you turn them, they fit in this 10x6x4 if you're selling a lot of styles like that. And this box is only 50 cents. Okay, the next two are the two that I use the most of. And these are the boxes that I would recommend that you use. First is the 8x6x4. It's 45 cents. This is what I use for all of my unstructured hats. When you put them in here, they're facing up nicely. So when the customer opens the box, it doesn't look smashed. It looks like it was placed in there with purpose. It doesn't look all smashed up, and it's almost a perfect fit for that hat. So either one of those would go in there. You could also put a Patagonia hat in here. Patagonia hat fits in there nicely. You just curl this down a little bit. It's not smashing it, but it also has a good presentation. When the customer opens up that box, they see it. Patagonia hats, sometimes I will put it in this box, sometimes I put it in a little bit bigger box. But this is my recommended box for the smaller and unstructured type of hats, is to use an 8x6x4. The next box that I use the most is this 8x8x4. This is what I use for all of my structured hats, the trucker hats, the bigger hats. They all fit in here. 4 inches right here is usually plenty to be able for the crown to sit up here. And then it's also 8 inches, which is almost always big enough for if the bill is really big on it, that it'll fit in there as well. All right, so on this one, we just have the New Era hat. It fits in there nicely. Again, good presentation to the customer when they open the box. They see that it was just placed in there. It's not sideways, it's not up and down. You put the label on top, they open it. They see the hat, it doesn't look smushed in there either. And so that's why I use this box. And the trucker hat. This is probably one of the bigger trucker hats that you're gonna run into. It has a really wide bill, a nice tall foam hat, good hat. This one also fits in here nicely. No problem. For the bigger type of trucker hats, it fits well. 8x8x4, 59 cents a piece. This box I put in here only because it's often recommended. I see it in chats or just people asking questions. What kind of box do you ship hats in? Sometimes they say 8x8x8. This is more of if you're selling multiple hats, they can fit in this box. It's way too big for selling one-off hats. You could probably fit multiple New Era hats in here. You could put the trucker hat in here as well. If you'll take a look, there's probably 3 or 4 inches of space. Once you get the hat in here, it's gonna move around a lot. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's just so much space in here for a hat like a New Era hat for it to move around. The trucker hat will of course fit in here, but there's still just a lot of space in here. All right, a good use case for the 8x8x8 is if you're gonna ship 3 or 4 hats. Probably all of these hats could fit nicely in this 8x8x8 with some room to spare. So I could get all of those hats in here. They would fit just fine in the 8x8x8. So if you're gonna ship multiple hats, I would recommend an 8x8x8 at that point. But shipping single hats in an 8x8x8 is a waste of money. Now I don't really use the 8x8x8 mainly because on eBay you get a free 10x8x6, which also has a great use for shipping multiple hats as well. Whenever I have to do multiple orders, send out 5 or 6 hats at a time, this is my go-to box. It works really well. And I just like the presentation of when you can set the hats in here like this better. And when you open the box, you can see the hats. And they don't look like they're all squished in there, kind of like the 8x8x8 did. Okay, the wind here was a little worse than I expected, but the whole point of being on location here at the mailbox was to make sure that you don't get a box that is too big. One of the reasons why we want to get the smallest box possible, but still be able to fit in the mailbox. So if you use the 10x8x6 or the 8x8x8, it's not going to fit into the mailbox. And we all know that porch pirates are a problem. You don't want the mailman to have any reason to leave your package on the porch. You'd much rather it be able to fit into a mailbox. Those are really the only 2 boxes that won't fit in. But please keep this in mind if you buy a box besides the one that I've shown you. Do you think it will fit in the mailbox? And when the mailman delivers it, will it be easy for him to drop it off? Okay, so to recap, there are 2 main boxes that I recommend, and that anytime I ever get the question is, what do you ship hats in? The first one is 8x6x4, 45 cents a piece. Unstructured hats fit great in here, look good on presentation. The second one is the 8x8x4. New Era hats, trucker hats, all fit really nicely in the 8x8x4. It's 59 cents a piece. And then whenever I'm having to do multiple orders or combined orders of like 5 or 6 hats, I will recommend the 10x8x6. eBay, they're free with coupon, or you can get them for 69 cents a piece if you order them online. I will have links in the description to all these hats. Most of them I purchased them on eBay. There's a link to the eBay store that I get them from. It's the Boxery on eBay. Feel free to follow the link that I have there if you want to check them out. Or you can go to eBay on your own and search the box sizes that I've recommended here.